Hi y'all, we're doing pork chops and sweet potatoes and black-eyed peas, and I thought biscuits might be good with this tonight, so I'm gonna make some and I'm gonna show you how I was taught. First of all, I'm gonna use 4 cups of white lily self-rising, not all-purpose, self-rising. Has a little green badge on the front that says self-rising. So if you can't get white lily where you live, order it. You will never ever want to change because it works so well for me. I love it. But I'm going to sift my 4 cups of flour. This just takes a second, but to me it really helps the biscuits to rise on up. And it also helps to get any clumps out of your flour. So you just keep sifting that until it's all in there. And see, it's so pretty when it's all sifted like that. All right. And now I've got a pastry cutter. And I've used this for years. It's old, it's bent, but it works. And I'm going to get me a large egg, you know, the size of a large egg dollop of Crisco. I love my Crisco. You know I like my Crisco. But it's about the size of an egg. I'll put that in. And now I'm going to take this pastry cutter and we're going to work the shortening into the flour. And this just takes a few minutes. It does not even more than 2 at the most. You're just trying to incorporate as much of the shortening into the flour as you can without making a paste out of it. You want it to look like a coarse meal. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get this where you can see. You see the little balls? That's about the size of a pea, English pea. And you don't want any pieces bigger than that in your flour. So once you've got that taken care of, you can start adding your buttermilk, which you can use sweet milk if you want, but I like buttermilk in mine. And shake your buttermilk, or what are you doing if you're not shaking your buttermilk? And just make a little well for it to go in. That might have been 3/4 of a cup. You can use your hands. I just don't feel like dealing with the doughy hand right now because I'm gonna have to also pat these out and make get my dough rolled out some. It's still too dry. You don't want it to be so dry that it won't form a dough, but you don't want the dough to be so wet that it's sticky. And if it is, you can add a little more flour, but you don't want to add too much because then you're going to have really dense biscuits, stodgy. And you want these to be fluffy and light. You don't want to overwork this, but I can get underneath where all that dry flour is easier with the spatula than I can with my hands. And I don't want to do too much. I think that's enough buttermilk. Okay, I have a biscuit cutter. I've probably had this 25 years. Use whatever size you like your biscuits. I just like a good sized biscuit. One of my favorite content creators, Miss Gant, she uses I think an old tomato paste can for hers, and they always turn out so pretty. But now I'm going to take this dough and I'm just going to put it on a floured surface so that I can roll it out. And I probably should take my rings off, but I'm not gonna because it's, you know, too late now. I've already started here. I'm gonna take a little bit of this flour and put it on the top. Not a whole lot, just enough so that my rolling pin won't stick. And I will kind of knead this a little bit because it's still it's a little wet there. Like I said, you can add more milk if you can't get your flour incorporated the way you want in the bowl, but when you do that, it can result in a very stodgy biscuit. So I try not to add too much. And I don't want to overwork this dough. So I'm just going to barely fool with it. Make sure my surface is well floured because we don't want our biscuits sticking to the counter. And I have a silicone rolling pin. I love this thing. Very rarely does anything stick to it. And I roll them out to about 1 inch in thickness. I want them to be about 1 inch thick. And then I just cut them out. And I put them on my cast iron griddle. It's not a pan really, it's a griddle. Scooch them in here. I'm going to save this dough. I might want to make me some more biscuits tomorrow. I think I can roll them out and make a few more out of that. My grandma brushed hers with a little buttermilk. And I'm going to brush mine with some butter. And we're going to take our brush and brush the top with some melted butter. I like to use unsalted, but if you want salted, you can, of course, use that. And then you're going to put these in a 500-degree oven. It takes about 15 minutes, but check them after 12. Because depending on your oven, they may cook a little faster. It may take them a little longer. But just if it's been over 15 minutes and they're still not golden brown, you might want to move your rack so that the rack will be in the right place. And I'll be back when we get these out of the oven. Okay, y'all, I just have to show you the insides of these. They are light and they are fluffy and they're going to be so good. We're going to put some of this melted butter right in there and cover that back up, and that's going to be a really good biscuit to have for dinner tonight.